Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers, Facebookians. Welcome to another edition of Airy Sky Release Video Vlog. I'm Airy Sky. So, as you guys can see, I'm in a different location. Yesterday's video for the 12 minutes I was there. I got the project done. I realized today that I'm going to have to find a hair salon when I get to my new home and get my hair done. Now, for some of you wondering, I am dilating in a different condition. That's why if you look down here, which I don't want you to, but you'll see my hand is right here. The dilator is right here. So I got the dilator here, and I found a comfortable position to keep it in while talking to you all for the time that I'm doing this video. Now, the other thing is I could be reading my Bible. I always read my Bible 3-4 times a day, and sometimes it makes me think, But anyways, Chloe asked me a little bit ago, am I mad? No, I'm not mad. One of the things that makes me concerned with Chloe is the fact that she has this PGAD, the persistent genital arousal disorder. Now, a lot of you basically sit there and say that's the horny disorder, and there's more to it than that, I think, because she soils herself, and she ran in really fast, and I was just coming in from walking Moppy, and I said, okay, and I basically said, when you're done, can you, let me know when you're done using the bathroom so I can go take a shoit, I call it shoit, like, Titanic, but, she's like, okay, so then, when I got done, her bath water was filling up, so I, started to wash my face, and I was just thinking of Sister Tara J., when Sarah J was talking about blonde hair. Well, when you have gray hair or gray or white hair on your face at times, and I have saw a little bit, it basically, so I was shaving and Chloe's like, well, hurry up. So I finally got angry again, I shouldn't have been angry. I need to control my anger, and I was like, ran into the kitchen, grabbed the mirror that I was provided by the hospital that did my surgery, for lower surgery, and I was just mad, and I was like, shaving, and then Chloe said, oh, are you angry? No. But Chloe also was talking about her leg when she always talks to me with the shower stall closed, the shower curtain. She says, and I'm not doing her voice completely accurate. She's like, my leg's still numb. And I said, yeah, because the meds they put her on. See, the psych meds can cause permanent leg numbness. It can also cause something where if Chloe's on antipsychotics, her tongue will, all of a sudden it come out of the mouth like a frog, and it's stuff like that, and then there's a lot of severe side effects with antipsychotics. One being a heart disease, and so. It's like, wow. So, but anyways, I got stuff to put away soon, game-wise. I'm like, gotta put games away. I gotta, get things prepped, me and Chloe have to figure it out, what we're doing yet, etc. But yeah, I mean, literally, last night I took some time for myself when Chloe was watching Zerophilia. We have other movies to watch now to put them away. And we have like I think we put away the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series, unless they're still in the hands of the neighbor. I don't remember seeing them and putting them in the boxes, in the closet, so I don't know, but, I gotta open up the closet thing and fill up the box, which means filling up my books. Most of my books will go in there. My devotions, I'm still kind of skeptical of putting them in storage, because, literally, I asked Chloe, I said, hey, where's my Book of Mormon? She goes, packed it away. Alright, cool. See, I rely on my Bibles a lot, and I rely on the Bible that Chloe's Bible, which she never reads, so I read it too. And so I read the CSB Bible, which is the Christian Standard Bible, and then the Holman Christian Standard Bible. This is the predecessor to, the predecessor, and, frankly, I find this Bible to be good. I also find it to be, it's a study Bible, Chloe's isn't. So I gave my sister one. Currently, if someone's curious, I'm in the book, the first John. There's John 1, John 2, John 3, and then there's a Jude and Revelation. Then when I'm done, I will go back to Acts of the Apostles. That's where I start every time. Once in a while, I will look up a passage or something. And a lot of people sit there, and I want to share this with you, and I tried to share this with Chloe, but Chloe's not really interested in um, the what do you call it? I don't think Chloe's interested in the Bible, because she's pagan, and when you're pagan, you don't basically you don't you don't you say when you're pagan, you are Wiccan, you just basically believe in what you believe in. So basically, I was talking to it, but yeah, I was talking about that, like some of them, I was talking to someone the other day, who's married, and someone said something about what happens if you're married and you are with another person, have you committed adultery? I said, yes, you're an adulteress also if you basically are having sex with the person, and you're married. So now, if the other person, say the wife or the husband agrees to it, it's still considered, adultery, and, basically Jesus wouldn't allow it, but, oh, here it is. So what I was going to say is someone asked me about Chloe, the other day and said something about, why do I forgive Chloe often? And Jesus writes, then Peter came to him and said, Lord, how many times could my brother sin against me and I forgive him? As many as 7 times? I tell you, not as many as 7, Jesus said to him, but 70 times 7. For this reason, the kingdom of heaven can be compared to a king who wanted to settle accounts with his slaves. You see, 70 times 7 is how many times you gotta forgive someone. And throughout the Bible, talks about forgiveness. A lot of people say, well, I must be losing it. Well, even though I don't like Chloe's mother, I do forgive her for attacking me. So she needs to realize to start behaving herself, So, one of the things I wanted to share with you this morning, and there's a lot of different things. Chloe's mom can also learn from Galatians 5, too. The spirit of the flesh versus the spirit of, the desires, but, I have those problems too. I'm only human. We sin every day and we don't even know it, whether it be a white lie or whether it be, desires or wants or seeing some hot chick with a huge pair of cans walking down the street, you want her for yourself, We all sin all the time, literally. I have to remind myself every day about Galatians, of how, the kingdom of God explains, through Paul, what must be done to be saved. And, the handbook of God starts, in my opinion, on Acts and ends with Revelations. Acts, Jude, but Revelations, in my opinion, I'm still trying to, say, whether it is or isn't. But the Bible itself, I've never faltered on my King James Version, and I've never faltered on this one. Now, I have a spirit-filled Bible, that's really good, but, my sister Tara is going to probably listen to me and go, this is stupid, I'm not listening, I'm done. And so am I, but I thought I'd share that with you. So, Chloe basically, like I said, asked me if I was angry at her, and it's like, no. And, yesterday, Chloe and I had some problems, My hand's still looking better, and this little elbow here, pain's reduced by 50%. It finally exploded. And so, I got goo and it's infected and, but it'll work its way out, And so, in the meantime, well, I just hope I don't get any, say, my backside or whatever, But, because my rump should not be getting boiled or, abscesses on my ass. So, but anyways, I wanted to share a few things with you this Sunday morning, that little thing. Maybe one day, every Sunday in my new home, I will give you a little Bible quote, for you all. Now, we have plenty of time to get to the library today. They close at 5, so it doesn't really matter when we go, but I wanted to be there early, but I also don't really care because, me and Chloe's got to figure out what we're doing today. I was asking Chloe today, Chloe was kind of moody, Last night, I realized I haven't given her hormones in a while, so I gave her hormones. She started being, maybe it was a hormonal imbalance, but yeah, usually as a woman, I basically hold a lot in, and people say, oh, well, you're not a woman because, and then, I gotta hear Chloe, Chloe sitting there, you think I'm more woman, you think you're more woman than me. No, never said that. I mean, look at it. Chloe knows that my thing's been completely botched, completely and damaged, the doctor, and so, does it, all these things, and then you hear these people, oh, well, blah, 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 and it's like, so, but yeah, anyways, I've been looking at, there's a couple other things I was going to look at today. I don't know where it is. Is this what I was thinking about? Yeah, these are what I'm thinking about. I got a bag, and as I do my husband, I'm looking to find out what games I have in my bag of Game Boy Advance games. I'm taking my Game Boy Advance with me, and I wanted to know what we had available, for games, because that's one of my hobbies, and I'm going to be carrying my games with me in the truck, so I thought maybe it's time for me to check out, the game system. So let's see, I got Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. I got Advance up there, that's really cool. I got Pokemon Fire Red, Sapphire, that was hubby's, Super Mario, Advance, Final Fantasy 6 and 5, those are great games. I got Pokemon Ruby and Breath of Fire 2, Breath of Fire 1, Fire Emblem Advance, Pokemon Leaf Green, let's see what I put in there. Lupia, that's a good game. Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3 Zelda Classic, Final Fantasy 1 and 2, Metroid Zero Mission. That's something I was trying to get back into because I really want to get through that. I got Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town, Zelda, more Friends of Mineral Town, another Harvest Moon, and Final Fantasy 4. So, those are my choice games for the truck and travel. That Zelda game is really eyeing me. So, but I also got to put away some game systems too. So, and so I'm trying to get things put together, and so, I'm hoping I can, and also, because of all this problems with the game companies, I've decided I'm going to have to try them, even though I'm getting screwed. It's either I give them all my games and basically get screwed, or I basically, the ones I sold, or I basically just leave it go. Now, basically, I'm very disappointed because, for one, the guy didn't listen when I said I wanted, Octopath Traveler. That's something that Chloe's picking me up, before we leave town. That's part of her rent, she's just gonna get that for me because of it, and that's the game I really want to play in the truck, but I can play other games. The other games I wanted to find out about, you have to order online through, the website, so, because I'm paying a lot of supplies and rent, I told the manager already, so I gotta wait September for those, and my sister's just like, wait till you credits, but with me, the problem is I just can't grasp the fact that, the guy basically is trying to shaft me on, these games. I mean, literally, there's $400, or no, $600 and $700, just count 8, 9, 10. Well, yeah, okay, so total games rate currently is $12.77.14. So technically, we have to figure out what to do, and frankly, I'm waiting to see what this guy has to do. So, but me, I find the library to be more relaxing anyways, because the guy answers like 3, 4 in the morning, and me, I'm sleeping. I mean, last night, I haven't slept in a long time. I mean, basically, and a lot of people think I'm insane, so I'm just gonna say, when people sit there and say, well, what voices do you hear? I hear mostly voices of dead people that are, either celebrities or my family. And, like last night I had, was working on a project and I got influenced by Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, and he is a really great man. He's very inspirational, you know. So today, when I get home, before I get into Harvest Moon Sky Tree Village, I'm gonna basically turn around and I'm going to see that it's right here, so you know. And I'm gonna basically turn around and write some letters out. I mean, I got a stack of envelopes. I got to fill out an envelope before we head to the library today. The other reason why I'm in here to do this video besides dilating in this position is that I wanted to say, you know, that you know, that when it comes to the letters, you know, I mean, a lot of people turn around, you know, and they bitch about Chloe. They're like, ooh, and then Chloe thinks I'm bitching about her too. Well, you know, people, you know, and so like Chloe's mom turns around and says, oh, you're abusing her. Breaking a router is not abuse. Breaking the router is not abuse. You want abuse, go look up her medical records. I mean, the other day, Chloe looked at me and hugged me and said, Rita, between you and the mental hospital records and stuff, me reading them, I realized, you know, through all of this and thinking about it, that my family literally abused me as a child. I mean, literally. You know, and I was thinking, there's another passage I was thinking about, you know, talking about things. I think it's Galatians. I'm not certain. It might be something else, but I thought it was Galatians. And, you know, Galatians. Maybe it was. Let me look real quick. Okay, so it wasn't Galatians at all. It might have been maybe Corinthians. Anyways, it was one of those where I read pretty much the same chapter all the time, too. You know. You know, like I always get it verbally abused, and it says verbally abused here, and then it says verbally abused here again, but I just, you know, the thing about homosexuality is completely wrong, you know, but I just can't remember, you know, like, for example, you know, it says swindlers, you know, don't deal with con men, you know, and it's like, you know, but I just can't remember the passage I was reading yesterday, might have been Peter or something, you know. But anyways, it says something or other about something or other, you know. It's not. It was Peter, I think, you know. You know. But anyways, I'm not going to be able to find it, you know. So, you know. So. But yeah. Anyways, like I said, you know, there's one year, you know, well, one of it, I don't know what it was, you know. Like this one said, you know, how's this for an example? It's in blue, by the way. The blue basically tells me exactly what they're saying. It says, I know all of you should be like-minded and sympathetic, should love believers and be compassionate and humble, not paying back evil for evil, insult for insult, but on the contrary, giving a blessing. Since you were called for this, so you can inherit a blessing, you know. Then it gives the black part here. It says, for the one who wants to love life and to see good days must keep his tongue from evil. Yeah. And his lips from speaking deceit. And must turn away from evil and do what is good. He must seek peace and pursue it. Because the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are open to their requests. The face of the Lord is against those who do his evil, you know. And then it was talking about something or else, you know. It might have been Peter, or Second Peter, you know, but, you know, I just can't remember what it was, but it might have been Second Peter. But I read something that was really good, you know. And Second Peter was only like a short one, you know, for the second letter, you know. But Peter had some really good, you know. And I find Peter to be good because Peter is, you know, is Saint Peter. He basically is the rock, you know, that Jesus, you know. So I found that to be really good, But yeah, anyways, it basically said, uh, do not complain, it might have been like a gospel or something, but do not complain about others, carry others' burdens, etc., etc. And, I look at this as a handbook of God. If you apply it, you're good. And I try to apply it. I mean, one of the things that I need to learn, and I keep reading Galatians on, I might as well just share with it in my channel here, Galatians once at least. I read Galatians all the time, every day, Galatians 5, Galatians 5, 16 goes, the spirit versus the flesh. I say then, walk by the Spirit, and you will not carry out the desires of the flesh. For the flesh desires what is against the Spirit, and the Spirit desires what is against the flesh. These are opposed to each other, so that you don't do what you want. But if you're led by the Spirit, you're not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are obvious. Sexual immorality, moral impurity, promiscuity, idolatry, sorcery, hatred, strife, jealousy, outbursts of anger, selfish ambitions, dissensions, factions, envy, drunkenness, carousing, and anything similar. I tell you about these things in advance. As I told you before, those that practice such things will not inherit the kingdom of God. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faith, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. Now those who belong to Christ Jesus have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. Since we live in the Spirit, we also must follow the Spirit. We must not become conceited, provoking one another, envying one another. Now, I read that one all the time to Chloe, and I love Chloe dearly, and she's not really religious so much in Christianity. I mean, when she came home, she wanted to change, and she was reading the Bible, but, she just thought, she doesn't like people putting it on her and saying, oh, well, you're going to hell, or, oh, you're doing this. So, to her, she just is like, to each their own, and, she doesn't want to be rammed down her throat, so, so be it, And so, her Bible, is a really nice one. It's basically pretty large. It's got its own book sleeve, and, but this is the one that's my go-to all the time. Literally. I mean, when I need to find something, I can probably usually find it. I mean, my Bible's got some splits here. It's got the personality. It's the Bible that's well used and well loved. As it says in the back right here, basically, it's a marvelous tool. This is what it is. It's a tool, basically. And if you have faith, you can get things moving along with no trouble, So, back to what I want to talk to you, not about religion and stuff, but, I gotta finish packing up, that's one of the things I gotta do. I got a lot of stuff to get done, and, I gotta talk to Chloe, find out how many bras I need to keep out, how many to put in storage and boxes, and, I got a few items left. I gotta get in, Thursday morning, I'm putting on a dress, wearing the, black tights, doing up my hair, going to the doctor, talking to the doctors about my, hormone levels, how everything's going, and, I gotta get those tests done, and, so, got my hormones in my arm, I'm feeling pretty damn good, by the way, but yeah, anywho, but yeah, like I said, one of the things I want to talk about is, the future, and I was going to take the vacuum cleaner apart today and vacuum again, but, one of the things I can't do is vacuum too much because, we have all these boxes around, and, it, it's, I don't know, I just don't know, and so with me, Chloe's asked me today, well, we're going to have to get in and find a primary care physician. It's like, yeah, we'll do that. We can do that right away. Check it out, And so, we're going to be looking at, a primary care physician. and goes from there, and I keep looking at that one box I moved from the living room, in here. Opening it, I know Chloe's like no opening boxes, but that one's got like a boatload of blankets in it. I'm wondering if we should use the blankets for cushioning purposes and toss out the frosted flakes box. I mean, we still gotta go and put away the PS3 in here. Then we gotta, put in this box, and then decide what we're gonna do with, the rest. So I'm just like, but, um, but yeah, anyway, this room's getting more and more emptier. I don't know if I want to put away the computer monitor yet, or wait, or I might do it like the night before we get the truck, finish packing up. But then in the morning of getting the truck, I want to run to the early enough in the morning. I want to put the couch away, finally put that actual couch away, and then start stacking boxes in the living room and just move back and forth, with boxes and stuff. The couch goes out first. However, I'd like to put the couch in last because I sleep on the couch, but with me and Chloe, we should be able to unload probably it pretty quickly. Chloe's gonna probably want to rest for like half hour while I'm unloading boxes, so she can catch her breath when she's driving, but, it's just, let's talk about a couple other things this morning. I was talking to Chloe this morning. She was in tears pretty much about hair removal. I tried to explain to Chloe, I'm not God. I don't have all the answers, If I did, I would be selling my knowledge to people, make you funny. But that's the joke to you all. But honestly, I don't know everything about laser and electrolysis. My problem is I tried to explain to Chloe, and Chloe's like, well, you're making to grow hair back. Well, laser basically is permanent hair reduction. So for all we know, she could have 70% of her hair dead, and it could be dead for like 50 years. And then some hair could just grow back and grow stubble, or, in places. I mean, it could be she could have a patch here and a patch there, which means she could have one of these funky little beards that could be like one side's hair, the other side isn't. I mean, no one knows, and I tried to explain with hair removal, unless it's electrolysis, which that's permanent hair reduction too, because I hear people sitting there going, oh yeah, I grew back some, and, I was talking to Chloe, and, Chloe's like, well, I don't want a 5 o'clock shadow anymore, and, and I've tried to be polite while having my morning coffee, okay? This is something that I want to share with you all, that Chloe's sitting there talking about having a full beard, and I go, I mean, with her face, I can see her having a full beard, but it's not right to be on her face. It's like me having a full beard with all the work I've done on my face and growing a beard. I mean, it's not right, And so with me, it'd be like, no, I don't want a full beard, And when I was picturing Chloe, she's like, it's not funny. And it's like, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the picture in my head. But, the thing is, she didn't want to acknowledge that's what I was thinking. It was like, mostly like, that, and, a lot of people out there, you got my sister and my other family members, and then you got everyone else. I'm not going to say this negativity towards Chloe, because I don't want to piss off Chloe, but I get these people that sit there and say, oh, my jammies is on backwards. Yeah, well, I get these people that turn around and say, Chloe's narcissistic. It's all about Chloe. Chloe this and Chloe that. If you listen to Chloe, am I getting my sex change? And it irritates the hell out of me. And one of the things that made me snap yesterday was, it wasn't the fact that, Chloe, it's, one of the things, and in our household, I'm forbidden to use, the word bipolar, borderline, schizophrenia, schizoaffective, narcissistic personality disorder, paranoid personality disorder, all these things, I'm forbidden. And so one of the things I want to share with you today, and I'm almost done with my dilation, then I can actually feel a little more comfortable, and grab me some more coffee with my channel offline. It's basically, when it comes to Chloe, Chloe doesn't, and a lot of people sit there and say, well, I would like to know why Chloe's lawyer got fired, or didn't get fired, but fired Chloe. Well, for one is Chloe was asking me to get all the records. Now, how do you get all the records when you're, well, you have time to get them? And it's like, yeah, I have time to, what, Chloe got mad at them, and they said, listen, do you have the fucking money to do it? And they're like, nope, we could go hungry for several months. When they does for our $7,000. Well, the guy writes a nasty letter, basically, and then writes me a letter again, basically, like a week later, saying, don't come to the appointment, he's done with us. But he gave me advice on how to win this case. Unfortunately, 2 days later, he finds out we were there with all her records. We had to get to her records. It's not easy because, let me just say, our records, cost money, And so, one of the things I was talking about, was it costs money, and, every time I turn around, right, all these places, and I don't know how TJ does it, right, but anyways, I'm talking about TJ for a second, Sarah J. But every time I turn around and I end up going through these background places, and I've done it several months in a row, checking on myself. I checked on myself recently, nothing yet. Yeah, the police said I was arrested, but they didn't fingerprint me. They didn't stick me in a car and take me downtown. They said I was arrested. Yet, they didn't arrest me. And then they didn't arrest me again when I was at the hospital. They wanted involuntary me. Now, nothing's on my record, so everyone says it's a sham. Alright, hold on 1 second. I'm going to pull the dilator out and continue. I gotta wait till, while I'm at it, I'll fix this, but let me just talk about the background check thing for a minute. You pay, and you pay, and you pay, and yet, you don't get anything. It's like, either it's public record or it's not public record. If it's not public record, then why isn't it, So, technically, my motto is, what the hell with it, Alright, so, give me one more second, everyone. The reason I put it on the towel is I do not want it doing that. Now, a lot of people out there, that I feel a lot better. I can move around. People ask about the dilation, and Chloe asks from time to time, and I tell Chloe it's the most uncomfortable thing in the world, sticking in a dilator. And I don't want to talk about something else that's bothering Chloe, okay? This is about, a big video. Like I said, she's, in the, tub. And so one of the things I want to share with you all, I just picked my shirt though, so don't I have nice boobs? I mean, I got a couple other small things to do, but here we go. The young Chloe basically is worried about the hair removal, right? Now, I've talked to people in the state, and I know Jenna, she, one of my moderators, she has connections to a hair removal place. I gotta find out in Seattle, since we're gonna be in Seattle, basically, where to go for hair removal for Chloe on, Medicaid. Now, I've asked Jenna via, whatever, but anyways, I know Jenna's probably thinking I'm psycho now for the whole router thing, but the problem is I snapped. I mean, literally I snapped, and I apologize wholeheartedly. I snapped because and then the neighbor basically has been bitching about it, right? But then she turns around and says, well, at least Chloe's got it clean. So, I looked at the neighbor, okay? I gotta get some more coffee real quick, But anyways, let me tell you what I said to the neighbor. Oh, really? Chloe gets the clean? That's amazing, So, I'll go talk to Chloe. So this morning I looked at Chloe, So I told Chloe, Chloe was basically like, that fucking bitch-ass heroin whore. And I'm like, well, how can we clean? Chloe looks at me and she says, we don't have the room to clean. Well, I got 3 people going to be cleaning, me and Chloe and one other helping load the truck and clean on the day that I'm loading up the truck. So because of that, we don't have to clean the new place. And so, Chloe looked at me and she says, I don't even know where to begin. We can't even get around this place. I mean, yeah, we can move this whole dresser forward and wash this wall here, but we can stack the desks up and wash the other wall, but it's just too much work just to be washing the walls yet, Hold on a second. mean, I can sit there and turn around, and I'm not going to basically say something to piss off Chloe. I refuse to. But I do want to say out of love, and I'm not saying this negativity, okay? I think it's an Aspie thing, an autism spectrum, or Asperger, and yesterday, I got angry because, Chloe's just trying to use, TJ's legal name, Sarah J's legal name, and I don't want it in my channel. Was told not to use any of that because it's considered, bullying, harassment, and so forth. So what happened with Chloe, with the router and stuff as well, it happened, but you know what? We were gonna lose our internet this morning anyways in the letter, so it's like, fuck it, But anyways, when it comes to Chloe, I'm not complaining at all. Chloe's always saying, "Oh, you're belittling me." No, I'm not. I'm expressing my concern for certain issues. Like, for example, I don't want to say this to piss off Chloe. She's in the other room. But for example, if we just found a little bag or our Denny's bag we have somewhere around here, the Denny's bag or whatever, we could actually loaded up with the stuff that's piled all over the floor, and I'm saying it as, for what I understand from Chloe when it came to being an Aspie, okay, Asperger's, and Chloe doesn't mind me using the autism spectrum disorder. Of course, my children's hospital record said I am autistic, go figure. That basically what has happened is, the other words we can't use, but I'm going to use them anyways in this video because I know Chloe can't just jump out of the tub and just beat me down give me a royal beat down, but I will use the other. Huh? So, anyways, what I'm trying to say is this, okay? Now, Chloe basically, and I'm not going to basically cater to her. I cater to her too much. She's like, don't use these words, this, that. Well, when it comes to autism, Chloe basically, I don't know if it's just the autistic part now maybe, what I understand from, one of my moderators, Demon Fire, if you're watching this offline, Demon, would you post a comment to me? And maybe Gabby, would you do it too, sweetheart, and let me know, if it's just, autistic people or Aspies in general, apparently, because Chloe was telling me her ex-roommate did it too, where they left piles and piles of clothes and junk everywhere. So if that's the case, then I guess my table is the same. I'm leaving junk too, so I'm at fault for it. But I was more interested in the clothes piles and crap around, if other people do it. Now, I'm going to use this word, even though Chloe's like, don't do it, I'm in the tub. Now, I don't think, hypothetically, and this is just me, I'm not a doctor, but my gut feeling states, quote, unquote, that Chloe's not schizophrenia. She ain't bipolar, and she hell ain't borderline. Oh, the borderline criteria! Yeah, by Christian Charities, it's one thing. Now, Christian Charities broke it down to the diagnosis. I basically asked, and my psychiatrist said, they're borderline, but then when I talk to her, and I read my own fucking medical record, because I talk to her and I say, hey, I don't think Chloe is borderline. The doctor puts in my medical chart for my medical record for my stuff in my psychiatric report. I do not think, like Rita, that Chloe is borderline. I don't think she's bipolar or schizophrenia. She doesn't meet the criteria. I think they threw it in there just to basically throw people off. Then, the next time I talked to her, she, for my net, because I have, I said, okay, they're claiming bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. What, I don't get this. And the psychiatrist said, Rita, you're bipolar 1. Chloe's not bipolar 2. Puts it in the report. Rita's got concerns because she doesn't understand the mental illness that she has, but she also is concerned for what Chloe is. I think it's autism. But, she writes down there, but my other counterparts at the other job I work at say it's borderline. Wrong answer. If she was borderline, hypothetically, now let me show you what borderline is, okay? Borderline is basically snapping like that, okay? And like the router. That's one of those instant mode things where you know, you get into a rage and you break it. That is borderline, basically. But there's other parts of borderline than just breaking the router. That can be bipolar, too. Now, then, you know, she basically puts in, again, Chloe's sitting there thinking, don't use these things. I'm not labeling her. Chloe should be happy. She should be in the tub smiling, because God's smiling on her, because I'm not saying anything negative. Then, you got the schizophrenic side. Oh, well, you know, Chloe's schizophrenic, she's not on her meds, blah, blah, blah. Again, psychiatrist puts in my report, Rita is more schizophrenic than Chloe is. I think Chloe's autistic, but I also know Rita's autistic from her child record. I think we need this, this, and this. All of a sudden, you go through, another place recently I checked on, and, you know, Chloe's hormone doctor and her former primary care, they put, we do not think Chloe is not autistic. She is autistic, but she is not borderline. She does not meet the criteria. Alright, so Chloe doesn't meet the criteria. Here's what we get into the big picture. Which reminds me, I need to grab something. Hold on a second. Now, Chloe's sitting here like this, smiling, because God's smiling on her today. But here's the thing. You don't meet the definition of borderline, then what are you? That's the thing. Even the hormone doctor basically said she put in a note in the record, because we have a copy of it, you know, that it states, quote, unquote, what? And I quote, what is she? She's autistic. We all know this. But basically, going through a psychologist, my psychiatrist says they basically put it in there to give her the runaround. Now, pay attention, because, you know, she doesn't meet the requirements. They are just labeling her. Oh yeah, we're just gonna, the reason for it? For the billing issue. Even the psychiatrist in my record said, I've looked over Rita's mental records, I know what Rita is, and because of it, Rita fits these criteria to a T. Chloe, and you know, and it's in my record because I'm always talking about being concerned for Chloe. Chloe doesn't meet that. Chloe doesn't meet this, doesn't meet that, doesn't meet this. Now, you guys are sitting there going, interesting, we went from religion to this, to this, to this. No. You know, and while I'm sharing it with you today, this morning, and I wanted to say before leaving, you know, to go to the library and stuff, that Chloe Spice does not meet the requirements at all. I mean, literally. None of the requirements. Autism, yes. Now, borderline, that basically falls under my pretense yet again, but usually it's basically borderline, it's bordering on borderline, and I have bipolar 1 and, you know, all this other stuff, but at the same time, you know, it borderlines it. Now, when you sit there and you stereotypical Chloe, you're basically stereotypicaling for billing purposes. Even the psychiatrist says we do it for billing purposes. You go in for major depressive disorder, then they gotta rule all this out. When I walked out, I had like a diagnosis rap sheet like this long, from all my birth records up to currently, and I met all the criteria. I told the psychiatrist, do you believe this? Yes, I do. But she didn't want me on meds. She even told the doctor, no meds. Chloe, on the other hand, you know, everyone says, well, you need to be medicated. Now, let me give you an example. Where we're going, okay? The new place we're going to. You know, I'm not sharing it with you all now. I know a couple people after Chloe's mom seeing my shit fit on this. But let me break it down for you. Chloe's decided that she's getting cash assistance all the way up to the end of the year, December, that she's got time to sit around, and September we're buying a phone, and for, you know, because we're not buying a rental truck, you know, renting a rental truck, that Chloe and I are going to have a phone. Now, when we do, we will give it out to our connections. Now, Chloe's mom doesn't get that number unless Chloe wants her to have said number. And I'm not going to listen to the fucking grammar Nazi in the bathtub. Quote, unquote. As they said in the Shawshank Redemption, you can kiss my ass, smell my ass. I'm not listening to a grammar Nazi. There you have it. Now, basically, we're going to get a phone, but she's good till December, which means she's got time to look for her mental health in places where she doesn't want to be medicated. This new place, they're going to give her, like, case management, medication management, nurse practitioner, psychologist, psychiatrist, therapist, all this stuff, and then they want her to go to daily things, partial hospitalizations. They want her to go through the whole 9 yards, which I was like, fuck it, I just want therapy. I don't need fucking, group therapy and this therapy and that therapy and, they want her to basically go every fucking day, and it costs about $100,000 for a month. And Chloe's like, no, just give me my therapy once or twice a week, or once or twice a month, and I'm happy. And I'm like, whatever makes you happy, Chloe. Chloe doesn't want to go in there and be like, you're taking these mental health. Look, we already got screwed up on Social Security, alright? One of the things is, and I'll explain it, is the Social Security exhibit file basically said she wasn't on her meds. She forgot when she was taking her meds. The two is, she was completing her treatment in time, but just like the meds, they basically said they didn't want to basically approve her for long-term care because they didn't believe she was autistic. There was no records for it. It was just on one of the records from her therapist in Ohio, which she had a copy. I found out, I called that group, and they said yes, there is a copy that they have in the records for her being diagnosed autistic, but they can't give it out by law. So Chloe and I gotta pay more money to get that so we can submit it to Social Security. Now, we don't have time to just go order it because he said it'd take a month to get. Now, a month, that means October we'd get it, and her administrative hearing in September. Now, I know Chloe's mom's like, oh, well, you need to go to the administrative law here, you can't move. Well, this is what I'm assuming she's going to say. Assuming. I'm not putting words in her mouth, okay? Problem is, the bitch basically needs to realize that it can't happen. What, am I supposed to just pull money out of my ass and say, let's go? If we get the deposit in time of $900, I can take the deposit, which is all mine anyways. Chloe wasn't in the picture at the time when I paid the deposit when I moved in here in 2016. And, basically, pay the deposit and, I paid it off, or am I supposed to just cough it up and give it to Chloe to go to her administrative lawyer? Her lawyer basically gave me tips to win, but these tips won't win. Literally, we so, I got an itch on my foot. So, technically, the bottom line is, Chloe knows she can't win. Unless we spend money, okay? Let's just say, hypothetically, I go to Chloe, right? And I say, Chloe, I know we need to get, over to, town, a ways away. Going to town, we're gonna be in a rural community, which is really, where you have to actually take, a Greyhound bus to bigger cities. And it's already known, or a train, Amtrak. And so, because, where we're living. Now, they don't have, like, major cities, and so we're in a rural community. So, let's put it to you this way. Chloe goes, and she said, and I give her an ultimatum. I said, Chloe, you have a choice. You either go to the administrative law hearing, and we go and we lose about $700 for food, travel, and train, or bus, or we submit at the cost of just giving up our bus or train ride to the bigger city until October, and we submit it to postage to the postal service, unless we find UPS or FedEx, and we send it to the office of ODAR, the Office of Disability, administrative or whatever it is, request, the hearing thing. And hope like heck on the 4th of, say, September, they get it, the Office of ODAR, and then they turn around and look over everything else medical-wise. And I think it's September 4th is, it's a Tuesday, so they get it on a Wednesday, right? All of a sudden, all of a sudden, right before Chloe's going in for, everything else she has lined up, she gets approved right then and there because they got it. Otherwise, we gotta go and say, okay, well, we sent the money and they said we had to be there or we can skip it, right? Thing is, we don't even know the Seattle ODAR office will give our records back. I mean, you know how hard it was to get all those records to begin with? And Chloe's better off just signing a paper and letting them go get them for themselves. So basically, the guy released her to all of it, and his answer was Chloe had excuses. Well, let's see. Excuses. 1, we have people that did not want to give her records because they were dealing with the government. 2, she was dealing with other outside sources, or the clinics and stuff. All this stuff, we finally get the records, and he sends a letter 2 days before we deliver them. Chloe's fired. You can't, so then he writes a letter saying don't come in. Then in the same letter, basically, in another envelope, he writes one to me giving me tips on how to do it. So I talked to him on the phone. He's like, hey, you can go, you can waste your money, but absolutely, then, you hear these people that say, why should I drive? Why should I go? Why should I do this? Thing is why? Why? Well, let's see. It's either we try or we don't try. If we don't try, I put the money towards good use for other things, like purchases that we need for our home. A new vacuum, a new phone, other things. Set up the layaway for Christmas. Why should we basically travel all the way out there for this to be turned down? I mean, I can manage the whole thing, but it's going to be denied. I mean, I come in with all the records and say, well, I didn't have time to send it. Well, the judge can be like, why not? Well, I'm not a fucking bank, Your Honor. I'd be like, I'm not a fucking bank, Your Honor. I mean, he can basically tell me to leave. I'll be like, I'm sorry, sir. I had to pay for a trick because she has no money. And we came from all the way over here. And he'd be like, oh. I mean, literally, my mouth would run basically and tell him where to stick it, basically. And frankly, even if I was polite and cordial, he's still gonna deny. I mean, literally, you gotta be all this, and on top of that, as the lawyer said, another reason the lawyer fired Chloe wasn't just about the excuses and not getting the treatment. The people there did not want Chloe to get treatments wherever she went. Literally. It's no treatment, So, no treatment, basically, not medicated, which Chloe doesn't want, let Chloe have what she wants, and on top of that, not getting the records fast enough. When he found out I had all the records accumulated except one place, he's like, wow. I said they had to trickle in. We got a big stack of them, but he also didn't know that Chloe ordered me to purge the records too. She doesn't want anyone to, she doesn't want people to think bipolar, borderline schizophrenia. And you know what? As the psychologist said, well, send it all in. But the psychologist in my record basically stated in my mental record, my psychiatrist, I should say, even if Rita purges these records, I thought it could help her out, to give her a notice that you don't need to purge records for Chloe because Chloe's fine. But realizing from Rita's own point of view, sharing the information verbally, I can share it verbally, I can't show it physically, that I think Rita is right that Social Security will deny her because she's got like 30 different diagnoses, and which one's right? That's the thing. So, while Chloe's sitting there saying in the show, don't use this, don't label me, stereotype me, I'm not. I'm just basically stating, the fact that these places turned around and literally went ahead and screwed her. Oh, well, let's put in that she needs, and that's what the lawyer said. One emergency room said she's here getting a better diagnosis for disability money. Another one did the same thing. The hospitals did this up here. The mental places up here at this place, and this place in town, and this place here. wanting a better diagnosis, wants to get involuntary committed for a better diagnosis. And if involuntary, she gets rubber stamp Social Security. Wants to be voluntary. I told her you can't, what hospitalization does for a person. She doesn't need it. Then they basically turn around at the integrated services and give a different diagnosis because they just want to throw Social Security off course. They know what Chloe's doing. So, you know, the psychiatrist says, yeah, every mental place she's been to is throwing in their own diagnosis. Chloe's schizophrenic, bipolar, borderline, narcissistic, paranoid, and general anxiety, major depressive disorder. I mean, I could go down the list of everything in the personality spectrum disorder. That's what I'm calling it, a PSD, the personality spectrum disorder. It's like autistic spectrum or fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. That's what I have. And you look at it, and they just threw it all in there, threw it in the hat, basically. It's like, hold on, let me see. Do I actually have those? I think I have them. I think you're going to like my example. Yeah. Okay. I use poker style playing cards, okay? These are poker size, okay? Here's poker cards. It's basically taking this 52 card deck, basically shuffling it with 52 diagnoses, and asking Social Security to determine the right one. I mean, how does that make Chloe feel? If Chloe met the requirements, Chloe would have to accept it. But then again, here's the problem with these diagnoses. Throwing these poker-sized cards and all these diagnoses in the mixture. First time she was at Jenna's Hospital, Seattle, they basically decided, they were going to investigate it involuntary. They decided nope. The second time around, they said basically they thought it was a sham, but they decided to send her off to another hospital anyways, in Kirkland. And as they did, they said, this is the second and third hospitalization, second time. They asked her if she knew her diagnosis. They explained it. She says, yes, that's what I have. But Chloe's misguided. She doesn't have that. Even the psychiatrist I have said, we talked about that outcome. Same thing in the third time. But the third time, again, the second and third time, the integrated services up there basically stated, and I quote, Chloe doesn't meet the requirements for voluntary or involuntary. Yet, let's put it to you this way. Chloe doesn't meet the requirements. Yet, they'll take my disabilities and basically make me wait because I've had too much alcohol in my system the first night, and finally I wake up and I'm sober, and they don't want to basically let me leave, so I said, fuck you, and I left. The next night, the police dragged me up there, didn't put Ida, takes me up there. Again, they were saying, I'm throwing your dilators away, you're not going to dilate, you're going to have a sealed up vagina. I said, fuck you, and I left. Third night, they tried to involuntary me, but they couldn't. My record basically stated, and I talked to the lady since then, and I've talked to the others, that they cannot basically involuntary someone with a service dog because they can't give someone's dog to someone else to look at. And since Chloe's not family, Chloe doesn't get the option to. Secondly, the mental hospitals they wanted to send me to, one wanted to send me to one hospital, and they said, even if you send us there, she'll sober up in 2 to 3 days, and then what? We have to pay the shipping back to her. No. So they said, okay, that was Sacred Heart out of Spokane. They tried the Yakima ones. Again, nothing. They said no, absolutely no service dog. Finally, they decided to try Swedish hospitals. Swedish says, we can't take her. We can't take the dog. We'd have to let her out every time the dog wants to take a shit. It ain't gonna happen. Then, they basically contacted the final last two. The one basically said, we're sorry, we can't do this. Because, we don't want to be connected to her too, thanks to Chloe. So even though they can't turn down a bed, they, by law, if the bed's available, they have to take you by law. But they turned around and said, I'm sorry, we can't take you because you have a service doggo. And in fact, we don't want to deal with you because we have to deal with your dipshit Chloe. So, another place said the same thing. So guess what? And they didn't want to send me back on that. So, well, what's the other thing in this whole thing about involuntary and diagnosis? Well, let me put it to you this way. With the deck, there's two problems there. One, they discriminated because they didn't want to give me a bed, which is fine. Two is, I have a service dog, which is fine by me. And three, they don't want to deal with me because they have to deal with dipshit Chloe, is what they put it. Final part, on top of all of that, the lady basically tried to involuntary me under alcohol. And even though I have too many mental problems, they couldn't basically get anything to work. The new mental hospital, full. Then, on top of all of this, I just walked out the front door. Went home. Didn't even know I got there. But when I talked to the lady, the lady understands why I was excessively drinking, and that helps with the speeding up of the suicidal processes and thoughts. And yet, at the same time, I had, ideas and plans, yet, putting in my diagnosis in the mixture, there was one other catch to it. You see, when the lady found out I had Medicare, she didn't want to take my Medicare days to pay for the hospitalization, so she contacted one hospital that was willing. But the integrated services had to pay for me to travel all the way down there by myself. All the way down to Oregon. Didn't happen. They didn't want to pay, so they put in my records. It's better for her to go home and sleep this off and have the nurses basically make an ass out of themselves because basically the lady basically walked out. That's it. So, bottom line, I am happy as to hell with the report that they didn't do it. Now, Chloe, the reason that the clinic did all this is because, Jenna's hospital, is because they get kickbacks. Chloe wants to go to voluntary, they'll just send her there. Yet, out here, this place hasn't sent many people voluntary. Now, Chloe was going to, in her first record I was talking to, because I have access, talking to the, when it does, they offered Chloe many times to come in the next day to be involuntary now. Or, voluntary. However, because of Chloe's, actions the one day, and I'm gonna say this, is Chloe was having a meltdown, when she came back here. She's stabilized now, but she had a meltdown, a big proportion. She's like, I'm not going to the hospital, fuck them. So the lady basically wanted to meet at 9 a.m. so they can actually turn around and involuntary her. Because of the hospital record. And, because she just got out of the hospital and, they figured she needed to go back. Unfortunately, they wanted to send her back involuntary because they didn't want to deal with her in this county. It wasn't about her dad that time. It was about that. And because she just got back in to the county, and they couldn't touch her Medicaid, and they couldn't do anything. They were going to send her back to Seattle. Unfortunately for us, I got it fixed. But, at the time, things are different, and so I wanted to let you all know because it's an interesting thing. Now, like I said, do we, basically, deal with it or not deal with it? To me, I find life is like a game of poker. Life is like a deck of cards. When you pull your card out, you don't know what you're getting anyways because, frankly, it's like life's like a box of chocolates. And basically what I'm doing is counting see if there's 52 in this deck. Because I think there is. And I prefer the Hoyle cards anyways. But you guys get the idea, So, in my opinion, you know, so far there's 40 cards I've counted. But you guys get the idea, right? Basically, they're throwing all these mixtures of diagnoses in the deck for Chloe, yet they're basically making themselves look like an ass, thinking, you know, that no one is in the right mind. No, let me count this one again. So there's 51 cards. Now, there's 11 here, and so let's see. Alright, so that's 21 cards. That's 31 cards. Let's check the box real quick. Is there any more in there? Nope. 31 cards. $41 cards. $52 cards. The entire deck. I miscounted one. There we go. So, bottom line is, life is like, or a diagnosis is like this deck of cards. It could take 20 years for them to diagnose Chloe. But in the meantime, Chloe has to have money and etc. But Chloe also knows she doesn't want to go through the hell and time and stuff to go through, you know, etc. etc. So you guys get the ideas, you know, that life with Chloe is interesting. Yep, interesting. Now I love these cards. This is one of the things I always took with me when I went camping is cards because it's just an interesting thing to just sit down and play cards, you know, whether, you know, you're fishing or you're not fishing or you're just relaxing after a hard day. That's why, you know, and I find the, you know, the cards to be really good. You know, if you get a good deck, you can always, you know, play solitaire and go fish, gin rummy, etc. So, but you guys get the idea. So, with these deposits and packages sending out and all this, I don't know, and that's what I want to talk to you about before I go. I need to find out from Chloe. Are we having a cigarette first, or are we shipping out? Alright. So, with all that said, I want to get Moppy out to poop. You guys heard it. Here's the question of the day for you. Do I use my deposit money for video games, or do I go ahead and buy a trip to the administrative law judge to be denied? Throw the comments below. Please subscribe. Please post comments. Please leave feedback, suggestions. Keep it nice as always asked. Hit the like and subscribe button. It's wholesome fun, even for all your dogs and your Chloe Spices. Thanks for watching. Buttercups.